It's finesse, it's touch, it's feel. There's a lot of similarities to throwing a ball. There's power pitchers and there's finesse pitchers. You know, you have to have the biomechanics right, but you also have to have the body feeling good. And so golf fitness is still in its infancy. I tell people all the time, I was fortunate enough to start doing this before the personal training existed. And people said, golf, yeah, that's a game. That's not even a sport. And now it'll be an Olympic sport. And you see the size of the athletes improving, and you see former athletes in other activities playing golf. So now you have, not uncommon to see a 6'4" golfer, guys who could have played other activities. So it's come a long way, and I think going forward, one of the other things that you'll see is the nutrition aspect is changing. I mean, Lucas can tell you just from inside the Colonial locker room what's available to eat now versus when you came on tour.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, you can get protein shakes, protein bars, you can get granola, you can eat clean and healthy every week on tour. In the past, I mean, seriously.
There was 4 or 5 years ago, some guys went to a lot of the tournaments and said, we need some better options. And, some of us were kind of, hey man, it's free, don't worry about it. But they the tournaments being how they are and very accommodating to us, and there was a big push for it. And that was 4 or 5 years ago. And now you walk in and there's, you got everything you could ever imagine, and then everything that is actually good for you, which isn't always the case on the buffet. But so yeah, that's moving along too, and we see it just from what all these guys have a trainer in the trailer, and they're making sandwiches and making trail mix and handing it to guys going to the tee. And my rookie year 04, maybe one guy was doing that, and now there's 10,
yeah,
10 or 12 guys. So it's changing, but it's all for the better. And I don't blame anybody for doing it. It's going to make you feel better and play better by all means. So yes, please.
We're just looking at the wall. I think 2002 when the Blue Driver came out. I'm curious, with Nike being an athlete-based company, why did it take so long to come to this? It seems pretty obvious, but it took a while.
It did, and I think that's it would be called a timing question, because like you said, we got started in 2002 and said they had a dedication towards the game. But I think a lot of that has to do with, as Randy said, believe it or not, this is even new to our industry, what I'd call the movement industry. I've been a physical therapist and a personal trainer and strength coach for over 35 years. And believe it or not, this is new. This is new to the world. So if I go to a typical trainer, they'll scratch their head and say, so you don't lay down and do sit-ups to make your tummy strong? We'd say no. Core training has to be a chain reaction. It has to be three-dimensional. Has to train the nerves. It has to have the finesse, like Randy said. It has this whole new ability for us to biomechanically analyze the transformational zone and say what's best. So I think it's more of a timing issue, but believe it or not, this is not only new to golf. This whole concept, this whole what we call pure functional training, the function of the sport is how we should functionally train, is literally new to a lot of sports. A few years ago, you wouldn't have seen LeBron go out there and do that lunge matrix. But he does the lunge matrix in order to work on his defensive skills and get him ready to make sure he can plant and shoot and make sure he's ready to play defense. So he'll take the same concept and say, for my sport, I got to get ready for this. For Lucas, he wants to do it to get ready for that. For a baseball player, now you'll actually see him in the bullpen going through, holding something like this and going through three-dimensional lengthening as opposed to just taking their arm and walling it up like that and say, okay, they need me, I heard somebody call. So believe it or not, it's a relatively new concept. And we're fortunate enough to have had the privilege to partner with a company that's going to get the word out and allow the average person to have access, not only through golf, but through other sports.
I want to add one thing to that, and I want to say this in many ways. I'm not very boisterous usually, but I think golf has changed the way people look at physical conditioning. And again, looking back in the early part of the 90s when I got into this field, people would be like, are you crazy? Functional training came to light because of golf training. So now everyone talks about functional movement patterns. When you see a functional trainer that was developed in the mid-1990s, it was designed for golf conditioning, for chops and pulls and motions that needed to be done both sides of the body. So, next time you think about swinging that golf club, what you see in a mainstream fitness center today, stretching poles, the true stretch, it was all designed because golf has evolved. And maybe because golf was late to the game and wasn't really an athletic endeavor, it's allowed us to move ahead without having all this junk on a chalkboard. It was a blank chalkboard. So we did the right things from the very beginning instead of having to recreate the wheel. You know, you see these guys I go to colleges every year, and these guys, they got golfers doing power cleans. These kids never even picked up a bar before. Next thing you know, someone's hurt, and then the kid lost speed, and then Lucas is calling Mike Taylor going, I'm not doing that workout anymore. We can't afford to do that in golf. You know, every player that we have is a very precious entity for us. And so, like, if I hand him this, and I say, how many people on tour carry that, Lucas? 20, 30?
40%.
40% of the tour have a stretching implement in their bag. So what would you say would, I mean, again, just showing them, because Gary's very fond of this tool as well. Show him your backswing position. So we talk about 3 planes of motion. He can do it on the range before he plays. Not many other sports have evolved to the point where they're able to not only tell their athletes and teach them what to do, but are able to do it. Am I going down the right path?
If you saw somebody stretch like that, you'd say, it looks like they're getting ready for golf, which is the brilliancy of it. Sometimes, on one hand, it sounds complex, but on the other hand, I should be able to look across the field and I should see you be able to warm up, and I should say, you're getting ready to take a run, or you look like you're getting ready to go work in the garden, or you look like you're actually going to go get ready to go play your friend in golf. You look like you're going to get ready to actually go out and throw a ball. You look like you're going to get ready. So, as Randy said, because the rest of sports have been encumbered with a lot of traditional lifts that may or may not make sense, golf is such a fine-tuned sport, we couldn't afford to mess them up. So we had to have everything as authentic as possible. So I think you put it very nicely there.
Gary, let's take one more question here, and then you've been standing for a little while. We want to keep you hydrated and happy. So I'll summarize tonight quick, and then we'll walk across, more drinks, more food, and everyone here to the Nike Golf side and Lucas and the entire team will be over there so you can ask individual one-on-one questions, okay? Cindy Davis, our president, Beth, PR, everybody will be over there. So you can continue to ask questions as we go through the night. So let's just take one more, then we'll summarize and walk over. One more, anybody?
Scared them off. Nice job.
Hydration.
As soon as you said hydration,
You're saving the best for the individual.
Good job.
Yeah, we
All right.
just, again, want to thank you, and we appreciate these guys being here, and obviously, on behalf of Dave and myself, the Gray Institute, we're just proud to be a part of Cindy's team, and we're just so privileged to be a part of Nike Golf, and we're committed to allow every golfer to become better. It's about as simple as that.
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it. So, very briefly, let's summarize the night to this point. You've heard a lot. Why are we here today? It's very simple. We're launching an app, and it's called the Nike Golf 360 app. It's on the Apple iTunes Store right now, and it's free to golfers. Just went up today. So the logo is going to look exactly like that, the app. I've got it on my phone now. I encourage all of you to go download it. Press release goes out tonight, has already gone out, but you were the first to experience it. And then we'll be adding more and more functionality to it as we go. An app is only as good as its content. So the reason we wanted to bring you here tonight is to say we're not just launching an app and forgetting about it. We're launching an app and building on it. So we've got my game, my swing, my body, and my gear, and each one of those are going to start out with a good crop of content. But as we go through the months and weeks and years of developing this app, it's going to become the basis for how we connect with golfers. So the content they've been talking about tonight, the workouts, the exercises, we have anywhere from 30-second to 2-minute clips on there. Right now with Paul Casey, we'll continue to add more of him going through these workouts so that you can see firsthand how professional golfers are doing that. Any questions one last time before we walk across? Again, so to tell you the rest of the night, we've got more drinks over there. We've got some food. We are wrapping up the night, but you are more than welcome to stay. We're going to be here until the sun goes down. So please feel free to stay, mingle with us, ask more questions, have some food and drinks. For those of you, this is your first time to the oven, we're going to do a little mini tour. Where is Brad? Is Brad going to lead us? Brad is the oven guru. So when you want to know who wants to go now? So when we get over there, who wants to go on a little mini oven tour? It'll be a mini. Okay, so we got 3 or 4 guys. So if you'll catch Brad when we get over here, grab a drink first, he'll walk you around. And then, like I said, the rest of the night, it's just casual and spending time with you. So once again, we thanked you plenty of times, but take one more. Thank you for coming and joining us tonight. Thank you.